What's going on, beautiful people? And welcome back to another comic book review video. I'm your majestic sayer of words, SuperCliff, and if you guys are new to this channel, then please, would you be ever so kindly as to smash that like and subscribe button so that you will always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. And today, guys, we are back at it with Marvel's luminous crime fighter, Moon Knight, issue number 3. Written by the underrated Jed MacKay, with the pencils by Alessandro Capaccio and the colors by Rochelle Rosenberg. And if you haven't been keeping up with the nightly adventures of Moon Knight, then definitely check out the playlist within this video's description. It will help catch everyone up on what's been happening in Jed MacKay's Moon Knight. Thus, without further ado, let's get freaky. Alrighty, folks. So this issue starts off with some therapy between our protagonist Mark Spector and his new therapist. And right off the bat, Mark Spector reveals during his session that he has an enemy, but more specifically, a new enemy, to which his therapist is quick to suggest, since, you know, Moon Knight's a superhero. And of course, one of the main detractors of being a superhero is having a list of various enemies. And for Mark Spector, it's no different. Whether he's fighting the forces of ancient gods, secret societies, or his own therapist, Mark has plenty of enemies. However, when it comes to this particular new foe, Mark is afraid. He's afraid because he suspects that this new enemy is himself. Thus, it's here where we get ourselves a flashback prior to Moon Knight's therapy session. And picking up at the Midnight Mission, we see Moon Knight doing his thing, dressing to impress. And while Mark's adjusting his tie, his newly hired secretary and recently turned vampire Reese storms into his office, demanding answers, demanding the truth as to why he didn't just kill her back in issue 1. Why did Moon Knight, the Fist of Khonshu, who just killed 2 vampires, decide to let Reese and the 3 other vampires live? Now, upon seeing Reese, Moon Knight, he realizes something is wrong. He can tell that Reese isn't happy. Thus, Moon Knight explains his reasoning, and simply due to the fact that within his ministry, his Midnight Mission, Moon Knight has sworn to protect those who travel during the night. And with such a heavy responsibility, violence and brutality are among Moon Knight's tools in order to properly carry out his mission. But when it comes down to it, despite having these tools at his disposal, Moon Knight doesn't kill willingly. He doesn't just kill, nor does he just dish out violence because it's in the job description. He judges the convicted based on their character. Therefore, with regards to Reese's situation, he didn't kill her vampire captives because, they were vampires. He killed them because they were kidnappers and murderers, whereas Reese and the others were innocent. Despite being vampires, they're good people. And so following this explanation, Moon Knight begs Reese the question as to what happened. What could have possibly have made you so upset to come at me like this? To which Reese is extremely quick to respond as she pulls out one of Moon Knight's crescent darts. Apparently, someone tried to kill Ted the other night, Ted being one of the vampires that Mark saved. And though Ted managed to escape, he came back with about a half a dozen or so moon darts across his arm and back. And so, out of fear based on Moon Knight's history, the way in which he is known to have dealt with past foes, Reese feared that it may have been him who had attempted to kill Ted. But alas, Moon Knight assures Reese that this was not of his doing. And with that, Moon Knight suits up, determined to find out who is trying to kill his people. And as Moon Knight is making his way, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, our luminous hero is attacked by Khonshu's second fist, the true believer of faith, Hunter's Moon. And with his presence revealed, with Moon Knight drawn to the battle, Hunter's Moon is here to deliver justice by reforming Moon Knight as a true Fist of Khonshu. And similar to Moon Knight's arsenal, Hunter's Moons involves a copious amount of violence and brutality. Thus, with this eruption of violence, Moon Knight is quick to realize that Hunter's Moon was the one responsible for attempting to murder Ted. But in addition, he's also quick to realize that Hunter's Moon is Dr. Badir. Now, Moon Knight assures Badir that he isn't going to break him. Regardless of his technique, regardless of him being a doctor, it's going to take a whole lot of beating to break him. Not to mention that while both characters are trying to kill each other, Hunter's Moon assures Moon Knight that he had nothing to do with Holly, nor anything to do with the old people back in issue 2. In fact, he doesn't even know what Mark is talking about. Mystery! But yeah, As their fight continues, with several panels of kicking, punching, and blood squirting everywhere, Hunter's Moon decides that if Moon Knight isn't going to follow the proper path of Khonshu, then he'll break him, he'll force him. Thus he heads off to attack Midnight Mission, to kill Moon Knight's friends. However, upon Hunter's Moon crashing through the building, Mark is determined to defend his friends, to defend his people, and thus Moon Knight literally beats the crap out of Hunter's Moon via baseball bat. And with Hunter's Moon retreating, desperately crawling away, Moon Knight promises Badir that he will allow him to live. But if he ever steps foot within his community, if he ever thinks about hurting or harming his friends again, Moon Knight will do to Badir like what the Egyptian pantheon did to Osiris. The only caveat being is that they'll never find all of his pieces, because Moon Knight will literally obliterate Hunter's Moon. And that, folks, was Moon Knight issue number 3. And yeah, hot damn on a stick. This issue was a badass time. One of my favorite ways writers utilize action, whether it's through movies, comics, or video games, is by continuing the story through said action. So rather than your typical action movie that has a bunch of action because, it's an action movie, and therefore by default we need a ton of action to wake up the audience and to kill time, Jed MacKay, he instead uses action, which is basically 90% of this issue, by telling the story through the action. Not only did we see Moon Knight beat the crap out of Hunter's Moon, but we also learn that 1, Hunter's Moon had nothing to do with Janitor Holly, and 2, we are seeing the internal struggle that Moon Knight will seemingly be having to deal with throughout the course of this run, which is Moon Knight finding himself, finding his own way into becoming a better hero. It seems that Jed MacKay is attempting to reform Moon Knight's status quo. Rather than Mark being the hero, who rips people's faces off, MacKay is transforming Moon Knight into a more stoic hero. A hero who wants to be one because he wants to help people. Whether you're a basic human being, a vampire, or whatever, if you're a good person, then Moon Knight has your back. And that's definitely a great way to take the character moving forward, because for new readers, heck, even me at times, it's tough to categorize what a hero is. Sure, Punisher kills criminals, and thereby in effect he saves people, but does that make him a hero? Or is he just straight up a murderer? Same could be said for characters such as Blade or Red Hood. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to see where Jed takes this legitimate concept of questioning while still sprinkling bits of humor in the process. And yeah, when it comes to the book's art, its colors, it's super sexy. Every panel, especially those with Moon Knight and Hunter's Moon kicking ass, can literally be used as a dope screensaver. I love it, so yeah, you guys keep up the great work. Overall, Moon Knight issue number 3, though it's basically a giant fight from start to finish, at the end of the day, it's still telling a story, thereby delivering a perfect example of how to distribute action within story. Moon Knight issue number 3 gets a 9 out of 10. Giggity go.